Hi guys, so you may or may not know I'm a huge fan of Femi. He's a massive advocate for the European Union, remaining and eventually rejoining the EU. Recently he spoke on the horrible Jeremy Vine show, and I have to hand it to him for keeping his cool with the people around him. They have no idea what they're talking about. Anyway, Femi explained how Keir Starmer needs to deal with Brexit by calling out its faults. However, I have to disagree with him on this point, as I think it's counterproductive. Let's hear what Femi had to say when he laid out his case.
The issue isn't that he has to say that we should rejoin the EU. The issue is that he should be basically calling out the problems with Brexit, i.e. what are Labour's values? Like fishermen, Labour should be standing up for them. And the National Fishing Federation has said that they're going to be losing up to about £300 million over the next 5 years. And you have the Shetland Fishing Association who've said that they cannot overstate the scale of the betrayal. So fishing has been screwed by Brexit. Then you've got farming. We've culled up to about 40,000 pigs because we haven't got the EU butchers to turn them into food. There's also the fact that half of UK businesses have had issues or had to stop trading with the EU altogether because of the extra red tape. And it just comes down to the fact that Brexit can't work long term because of 5 simple facts. 1, all countries trade most of the countries that are physically closest to them. 2, the biggest barriers to trade is having different laws, i.e. having to adapt your products to laws of different countries. 3, that means it will always be in the UK's economic interest to have similar laws to the EU. 4, Brexit means we don't get a say over the laws of the EU. 5, that means that we're always in a position having to choose between following the rules of the EU in order to protect the economy, but that annoys Brexiteers because we now have less say over those, or intentionally damaging our country.
And he's right on all of this. Completely correct. And he's laid it out perfectly. Now, the problem with all of this is that we, as pro-Europeans looking at this, agree 100% with Femi. But the problem is that the average voter does not understand this. Even people who voted for Brexit and are in fishing communities and are farmers who are currently, and I showed you a clip some months ago of a pig farmer in England who is complaining about the fact that she can't maintain her farm. The pigs are piling up. She can't get them sent to slaughter because of Brexit. And her response was, when she was challenged on this, was, I voted for Brexit because I wanted people to love the country more. So explaining the problems of Brexit to somebody like that is completely pointless. They don't understand it. They voted for other reasons. They will say, yes, I voted to make the country better or to increase trade and things like that. But unfortunately, a lot of people voted because they were convinced by words like sovereignty and taking back control. And for them, that was the reason that they voted for Brexit. Now, you can't convince those people by explaining the problems. But a caller to the LBC show, which I covered some time ago as well, a guy called Richard laid it out perfectly. He said, Keir Starmer needs to explain to the public Brexit doesn't have to mean X. Brexit doesn't have to mean that you can't export your fish anymore. Brexit doesn't have to mean that you have to bury the pigs on your farm because you can't sell them to slaughter. Brexit doesn't have to mean that. So these people, you can't convince them that Brexit was a bad idea, but you have to convince them, if you vote for me, I'm going to try and do something within the framework of Brexit to help you. That has to be Keir Starmer's plan. I don't agree with doing that in the sense that it's, in a sense, lying to the public. I don't agree with lying to the public. But for people who are in an echo chamber, people who don't understand that Brexit is a mistake, that Brexit is a disaster, you have to feed them, I don't want to call it a lie, but you have to feed them a narrative that, yes, you have voted for Brexit. Brexit is not going away, but we're going to try and work within the framework of Brexit to make things better for you. But the Tories are not going to do that. If you vote for me, I'm going to do that. So I'm not going to take away your Brexit. You're going to still have your Brexit, but we're going to try and work within its framework. Is it possible to work within the framework? I don't know. I doubt it. But if you want to win elections, telling the people who voted for Brexit that Brexit was a mistake is not going to win them over. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.